listening to the Nerdy Reads podcast, a hipster goblin media production.
Hello to all our nerdy friends from the Nerdverse. Welcome to the Nerdy Reads podcast. We read nerdy stuff such as sci-fi and fantasy books, comics, manga, and horror. We also discuss all other nerd things from around the globe. Have you ever thrown 30 lightning bugs into a jar, closed the lid, and then watched as their lights went out one by one? We haven't either, but we will be discussing another short story from You Like It Darker, where a character does that very thing. We will be trying some of the Mountain Dew summer flavors, discuss some nerdy news, and much more. I am one of your hosts, Justin, and with me is my brother from another, Robert. What's up, dude?
Justin, what's going on? As always, I'm excited. A little less excited, but still excited to be here for the Nerdy Reads podcast. I'm missing Game 3 of the NBA Finals. But am I really missing anything? Boston's been manhandling Dallas. But we're not a sports podcast. We're a nerd culture podcast. And who's more nerdy than the Star Wars king himself? It's Dylan.
Yeah, buddy. That's what I like. That I like that. I might become the self-proclaimed Star Wars king right there. I like that. Although the way it's looking right now, ain't much of a kingdom to be ruling. So,
whoa! Yeah. It just got real sad in here, real quick.
I'm upset.
All right, Robert, you got a question for us today?
I do, guys. So I hopped in our Discord. I don't know why I did this. Partially because there's like a mount I can get on Final Fantasy 14 if I drink enough Mountain Dew. So I've started my own Mountain Dew tier list to justify this to my wife while I'm buying all this Mountain Dew and I don't even drink sodas. So I don't know what my S tier is yet, but you boys drink a lot of Mountain Dews. What is your favorite Mountain Dew flavor?
I like that he said you boys.
I mean, you hit our Discord about 37 Dew picks in the last year. You gotta love
37 Dew picks, bro. I'm pretty sure it might be 2. And one of them I don't think was even real. It was the peach and cream Dew flavor I wish was real. But anyway, if I had to pick my S tier Mountain Dew, I'm going with the Mountain Dew Spark, bro. That raspberry lemonade flavor they dropped. Sure. I like that. It's pretty solid. I'm not much of a Dew person. I don't like the original. I know that's like a slap to Dylan, but not an original Dew guy. But that Spark, it's all right.
No original Dew for you. That I'm sorry for your taste buds, but I personally I would kick it a little old school and go with the Mountain Dew Whiteout as S tier, in my opinion.
Whiteout is S tier because see, I've been looking at like list of all these Mountain Dew flavors for this experiment, and Whiteout is consistently put at the bottom of the barrel.
Oh,
not true. Back in the day, my favorite was Code Red Zero. And I'm sure that's probably a beverage crime too, but I liked red Kool-Aid as a kid. And to me, that mimicked that taste.
I can't believe they don't make Code Red Zero now.
Do they not?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I see Code Red everywhere. I don't see
do
Code
too.
Red Zero.
All right. I'm going to hunt it down.
We got to find it, though. We got to find it. If it still exists, bro, we got to review that on the show, see if it lives up to the old school hype.
Heck yeah, dude.
All right, guys, let's get into some book happening. So Robert's going to throw this up on the screen. If you are a viewer of our show, which we are on YouTube now, we aren't going to plug that every single time. Actually, we probably will. But if you're a viewer of the show, we're going to have that up on the screen. If you're not, we'll try to talk through this as much detail as possible. But are you still trying to determine what to give your father for Father's Day this weekend? Well, Fox News has curated a list of suggestions for the book-loving dad in your life. So let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at this list together. I looked at this before we got here, but you know, some of this is okay. Some of this is stuff I like. For the first thing they have on here is, what is this? The library stamp. From the library stamp. Interesting.
So what is this, like a custom stamp from the library of, and at the bottom it would say my name?
Maybe.
All right. Hey, kids, don't get me this.
Exactly. Next we have the wooden book valet stand, which this was maybe one of my favorite things on this list. It looks kind of cool.
It's practical.
You sit it on your desk. It saves the page for you. You can put your coffee, your glasses, if you're a glasses wearing guy, set that on there. So, you know, if we're putting this on a tier list, this is probably sitting at that, B tier.
Yeah, I could see a use for this. It's a lot better than a stamp.
No doubt. Got the reading journal. Hey, journaling's cool. I like journaling. Reading journals are cool. Not a bad gift, if you ask me.
It's really not. I actually find myself highlighting constantly when I'm reading in the Kindle. So when I go back to like an actual physical book, I don't put like stickers or tabs in it. So I'm always like trying to go back, like what page was that on? So something like this would actually be useful.
Yeah. Then we have the literature inspired whiskey glass, which is kind of cool if you're a whiskey drinker. Apparently it's like that classic literature kind of stuff, which is also cool if you're into that. That's not necessarily like something that I'm huge into. This is a Alice in Wonderland glass set. It sells for $25 on Amazon. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't drink whiskey, but if my kids got me this glass, I'd start.
Yeah, dude. Well, there you go. We got the literary cocktail book. I kind of thought this was a cool gift. Me and Robert have always dreamed of the idea of a bookstore bar type situation.
Yeah.
This is where you create beverages based on what book or what story is, that's kind of a cool gift. I'm here for this.
Yeah, dude, Nerdy Reads After Dark. I'm gonna try a couple of these recipes next.
There you go. Literature themed puzzle next.
He doesn't even see ya.
Oh, nope. Amber reading light next.
Yeah, I feel like this was useful back in like the year 1999, but who doesn't own something with a backlight at this point?
No doubt. We've got the ideal bookshelf art. I don't even know what this is. It looks like a picture of books.
Is that what it is? Dad might appreciate a work of art to adorn his reading nook. Next!
Socks that give books. Socks that give books. Okay, this is one of those cool things, I think, where you buy a pair of socks. I think they give a book to a kid.
Okay.
I'm for these kind of things. That's cool. I like this. I like the Toms and the different things where you buy a pair of shoes, gives a pair of shoes. I like this kind of stuff. So, hey, if I got this, I'm not upset about this.
Veronica, you throw away my socks all the time. I need new ones. I'll take 2 pair.
I always need socks. These bookmarkers I thought were legit looking. Really cool looking bookmarkers. Maybe one of the cooler gifts on this list.
Yeah, I dig this.
Yeah, those are cool. I like these kind of bookmarkers anyway. But these have these like cool little leather, little locks. Those are nice. I like that. I like that. Not mad about that. So that is your book list for from Fox News. So as you can tell, we trolled a majority of this list. Maybe 30% of this was okay. All right. Let's move on to the next thing. Best-selling author V.E. Schwab agrees to a 7-figure book deal. Her next novel will come out in 2025. If you guys listen to the show, we've done a couple of books of hers before. Before we even did this show, me and Robert did a little semi-quasi book club with one of her other books a long time ago.
Buddy read.
A little buddy read. Yeah, there you go. But Tor Books announced Wednesday that it has agreed to terms of a $2 million contract for a new work from the science fiction fantasy novelist and bury our bones in the midnight soil. Is scheduled for June 2025. Love the title. Schwab's novel will span from 16th century Santo Domingo to the 21st century Boston as it tracks the entangled stories of 3 women whose bodies are planted in the same soil. Schwab, who is 36, is known for such series as Shades of Magic and Cassidy Blake, and her million-selling novel, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which was our buddy read, about a French woman blessed with immortality and cursed with being forgotten by all who meet her. So this is a really, really cool thing. She's awesome. All her books have been really cool. In a statement that she released Wednesday, Schwab noted that she had written about supervillains, devils, and magic across multiple worlds and thanked Tor for her longtime publisher for supporting her. She called her new book, My Bones, Blood, My Heart. So we're excited. I'm guaranteeing you guys that we will do this one.
Day one.
2025, you heard it here first. So we will definitely be covering this.
She's a top 5 author for me. That's day one.
And last but certainly not least, fresh off the press is an announcement of a new animated show that I cannot wait to talk a little bit about. Robert, share with us what you got.
So it's actually a movie, not an animated show, but announced tonight is Lord of the Rings, The War of Rahim?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Yeah. The War of Rahim. The story is set 150 years before the original trilogy. It's going to follow Helm Hammerhand. Don't know who that is. Justin probably does. Legendary king of Rohan, who is joined with his daughter Hera, and they're faced with leading the defense against an enemy that would destroy their family. The movie is directed by Kenji Kamiyama. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Hope you're a listener. He is anime classics such as Ghost in the Shell, Standalone, Complex. So they have someone legit doing this movie, anime fans. I'm pretty stoked for it. Producer Philippa Boyens, who co-wrote Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies, is also involved with this. It is going to launch in theaters this year, December 13th. There were a couple images thrown up to give you a look at it. It looks gorgeous.
It does.
I'm in the theater for this.
Day one. Without
question. Yeah, dude. We couldn't have a book happenings today and not talk about the Lord of the Rings anime movie dropping.
Yeah, and I love the fact that there's more coming out from this universe. I think it's awesome. And this just looks, like you said, Ghost in the Shell. This is legit people doing this. So that just gives me a lot of hope, man. A lot of hope for this. I like all the stuff. I'm not a Ring of Power hater or anything like that. And so if you just have more stuff from that world, I'm here for it. So looking forward to that one. All right, guys. I'm also looking forward to some of the things we have coming up today. And so without further ado, give us just a moment. We'll be right back as we're going to discuss the very first book or the very first short story from You Like It Darker, The Fifth Step, in just a moment. All right, today we are covering two short stories from You Like It Darker by Stephen King. This is our book club series that we're doing on the book You Like It Darker. And the first one on the list is The Fifth Step. Robert, what is it about?
The Fifth Step follows Harold Jameson, an elderly man who recently retired, but he also lost his wife. Despite this, though, he kind of counts himself lucky, tries to see the good in things. He's a simple man taking simple pleasures in life, like reading the New York Times in print versus digital on his favorite bench in Central Park every morning. One day he arrives at his favorite spot where he meets Jack, who asks him to stay and have a conversation with him.
Yeah, so this one, I would just tag this one as mystery, horror. It's Stephen King, okay? This is about as Stephen King as it gets. So really, I was shocked by this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I think, dude, so like back when we reviewed Holly, I stated one of the more terrifying aspects of that story to me was that it was grounded in reality in a way that it was something I could see actually happening. Like just an everyday occurrence that could happen to you. And that stuff freaks me out a little bit. Mm-hmm. So if Holly kind of made me afraid of the elderly, The Fifth Step just makes me not want to talk to anybody. I just want to keep it moving.
Yeah, and when we when we read the story last week, and we were talking about how it was very PG in compared to a lot of King's stories, the way they set that up and the way this book kind of started felt very similar. It's like, okay, well, what's going to happen? Like, I wasn't sure if this was going to be another, alien thing or what this dude was going to reveal in his life story. But as that's progressing, you're like, okay, well, where's the turn? And this one was extremely short. How many pages was this? Do you remember?
Yeah, this one was only 10 pages, which to me makes it all the more impressive. Like, It's kind of like Stephen King's like, look what I can do in 10 pages, flexing on y'all, man.
Exactly. And so it was just kind of one of those where I was like, okay, well, when's this going to turn? And it turns at the very last minute to become exactly what King is known for, which is like shocking you with just kind of the way that he turns something from kind of normal feeling to tragic.
Yeah. So like Jack, the gentleman that Harold runs into on the bench, he's an alcoholic completing the 10-step program, and he's on step 5, which Taken from the website alcohol.org, the fifth step is admitting to God, to oneself, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. So he kind of lures Harold into this conversation like, hey, I need you to be part of my fifth step. And then from there, King kind of like paints this backstory of this character, Jack, that he kind of progressively gets worse as he grows older. But he put a lot of depth into this character for only being 10 pages.
He really did. And it was an interesting dynamic because when he's talking to the older gentleman at the bench, at first he's like, oh, man, I'm going to say yes. Don't really want to. And then as the story is progressing, he goes, okay, well, I don't mind being here for this. Yeah. I'm actually helping this guy, kind of thing. And so you start to feel like, okay, well, what's going to happen with this? And again, it doesn't take long for him to realize I shouldn't have been talking to this guy.
Yeah, I think like it starts off innocent enough. Like he was a kid in school and he wanted to beat up this other kid. So he made up a lie to give himself a reason to fight him, is what he told the principal. Like, this kid says something about my mom. Right. And that kid never did that. And then it like kind of progressively gets worse. Like he graduated through college because he smuggled a key of cocaine to a student advisor for test scores. What?
Right.
And then he embezzled money from his job as an adult, which led him to, lose that job. So he tried to do a fresh start, gets married, loses his second job due to alcohol. And ultimately, from there, it just gets dark.
It does. And so, I long story short, let's just get to what happens at the end. We're talking 10 pages. He ends up stabbing him. Because he reveals that essentially, he
killed his wife.
He killed his wife. He enjoys killing people. He even says that. He goes, I found something else that I'm addicted to, basically, is I like killing people. And so he stabs our boy with an ice pick and basically leaves him to die. And the dude's grasping for his Times magazine as if that's going to help him somehow. And he just leaves him there to die. And so I guess one of my questions in this was, so he was talking about his sponsor. Remember that?
Yeah,
he was
Randy.
talking about Randy. Yep, the sponsor who's helped him. Maybe I missed this. Was Randy in on the killing part of this?
I don't think so. I think Randy was just like legitimately a sponsor and was telling him to follow these steps.
Got it.
And he was just doing what a sponsor told him to do. Because he even mentioned his sponsor's like, you need to pray every morning. He's like, well, I don't believe in God. And his sponsor said, I don't care. Pray every morning. Right. So he's like, yeah, I've been doing this stuff. And then Randy told me to do X, Y, and Z. So I don't think Randy was in on the killing. I think this is just someone
Didn't he say something in there, though, about how he goes, well, why can't you just tell him or tell... He goes, no. He said it has to be somebody else.
Yeah, that's part of the...
Which I know that's... Right. Okay. Okay. I was just trying to figure out if Randy was in on
like the murders and stuff.
In on the murder, like a secondhand murderer,
Gotcha.
I don't know. I'm going to take your word for it, though.
I want to say no because he didn't know Randy when he killed his wife.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's fair. So really, this is a very cool, very, like you said, I agree 100%. 10 pages, King flexing, saying, hey, look what I've done with 10 pages. What now? He's the man. This book continues to impress me. I'm very entertained by every one of these short stories so far.
Same. I think the cool part about this one is like it was a nice, short, solid payoff in the end, what you want from like a good campfire story. Like something I'm going to sit down with my bros. We're camping. We're telling freaky stories. This is something you could like sit there and tell in 2 minutes. Yeah. Put your own spin on it. But yeah, dude.
All right. You ready for this lightning round?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. We're going to do this for both the stories today. We got a couple questions that we want to just kind of tag in. 1 minute for each one of these. Could be a little shorter. So first one we have on the docket is, has Stephen given us trust issues with his last 2 books? Robert.
Absolutely. I read Holly, and I still don't look at the elderly the same when I'm out in a park if they ask me for help. In fact, I was at a park near our house with Veronica, and this gentleman asked me to help him with something. He was setting up like he blows these bubbles for kids and just gets tips over by the walking bridge. And I was hesitant to help him, and Veronica's like, help him? So I ended up helping him, but that's what Holly's done to me.
At least you had witnesses around, though.
I did, and it was broad daylight, but that's just how much Holly spooked me, man.
Hey, listen, dude. Stephen King has definitely given us all, like you say, he takes real life situations, things that we find ourselves in all the time. You just sit there and talk to somebody. You meet somebody in a park and you chat and just kind of like some little, how you do type chats. Or old people on the side of the road, you see them changing a tire. I mean, come on. Are you not going to get out and help a 70, 80-year-old person? You're going to help them. And King takes these things that he knows that we do without thought and goes, hey, let me make you think about that a little bit. Like, what if you end up in their basement and they're eating your liver? What a freak, dude. All right. So next, at what point are you getting up and leaving the park bench? Go ahead, bro.
I'm kind of like Harold, dude. I'm going to be interested. And then when my man gets to the part where he smuggled cocaine in his tire from Canada, I'm going to be like, hold on, bro. You're pushing weight over here? And then probably when he gets to the part where he's like, putting hands on his wife, then I'm probably like, all right, man. Hey, it's been real. And then I'm gone. Like, we ain't going to get to the part where, like, she really died. Nah. Oh, you beat your wife? Cool, dude. Hey, good luck in recovery. I got to go.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man. That was a tough one. I would say very similar because at that point, he doesn't have much longer. Harold doesn't have much longer. And pretty much once that's done, he has like another couple sentences before he has an ice pick in his kidney. All right, here we go. All right, we can safely assume that this dude's killing days aren't over. Do you have a favorite serial killer movie, story, anything? Dylan, we'll start with you on this one, my man.
Honestly, one of my favorites is always just a classic, the Scream movie.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good spin on slasher films. There it is.
No.
Oh, wow. He already had it prepared. He even had the hat on earlier. That's crazy. He knew it was coming. It's just a good spin because it's like it's a classic slasher movie, but of course then you have like was it Stu the whole time that's like talking about slasher films and he's like predicting everything. Randy. But like he just comes out and it's like, I don't know. I just feel like overall it's a great movie. Sorry. I'm trying to end it real quick. I don't want to go on a rant.
It's a great movie. There's no rant to be had about the Scream franchise unless Scream 3, but we just act like it doesn't exist.
For those of you who might be just listening to our show right now, you may have noticed a little change in Robert's audio. It's because he's talking through a Scream mask right now. I guess that's your answer as well, huh?
Easy, man. It's by far my favorite serial killer movie, one of my favorite slashers of all time. I watch Scream every single year around Halloween. I'm not as into it as my brother. That dude is big into Scream, but I do love it. It's fantastic.
For me, it's American Psycho. Always love that movie. Such a good one. Such a good one. All right. Last, we always know we have to give 3 words to close out the entire deal. Robert, what are 3 words that you want to close out with on this story?
I have 4, unfortunately. Don't talk to strangers.
Cheated to get that done.
I did.
Hey, mine's just short and pokey. Give us just a minute. Give us just a minute. We'll be right back for some New Stuff Cafe.
Don't trust strangers.
I had it. Messed it up. Don't trust strangers.
Don't trust strangers, dude. Messed it up.
Welcome back to the New Stuff Cafe. Hey, we're going to have another Spawn from Discord segment here in just a few minutes. But before we do, Dylan, what are we having?
Oh, yeah. Get ready, Mountain Dew fans. Get your bro tanks out, hike up your short shorts, and let those pasty legs get some sun because it is hot and dooski summer.
Yes. I knew he was the right person
Oh, yeah.
to intro the dooski summer dew challenge here.
I'm prepared. Okay. So Mountain Dew is unveiling 3 all-new drinks for the season. It's an ideal combo for the upcoming 4th of July celebrations. Mountain Dew wants everybody to celebrate the great outdoors by announcing 3 new limited-time red, white, and blue flavors. First up is the white flavor, Freedom Fusion, which is a blast of lemon and peach. And we got our Star Spangled Splash, which is a blast of red berry, and that is obviously the red color. And then we got the Liberty Chill, competing with Dr. Pepper, claiming to have over 50 flavors in one dew.
I'm scared of that one.
I'm ready.
Ooh. All right. I have 2 out of these 3 flavors that you just mentioned. I have Liberty Chill, and I have Star Spangled Splash. I kind of wish I had the Freedom beverage. What a name.
I have Star Spangled Splash. I have all 3. Star Spangled Splash says it's a blast of red berry, so maybe this is the code red I'm looking for. Right. Freedom Fusion is lemonade and peach, so I think that is up your alley, dude.
I know. That's the one I was kind of hoping to find. I could not find that. I went to a few different places, and it was nowhere to be found here in old Columbus, Indiana.
I'm going to try Star Spangled Splash first.
All right, I'm in.
Robert delivered to me the Liberty Chill and the Freedom Fusion, so those are the 2 that I got.
Ooh.
Dude, I want to give a shout-out to Travis, my brother from the Last Co-op podcast. He's been buying Mountain Dews and sending me the codes under the cap so I can claim them for my Final Fantasy mount.
Yeah, there's no codes under these.
Yeah, I know. It's whack. But thank you, Travis. I'm sorry you lost a toe. Skull.
I'm going to wait for you guys to try that and then move on to mine. The ones that I have.
Not bad.
It's definitely not code red.
Mm-mm. Didn't we have a berry dew here before? Like something that was very berry-esque.
Probably.
This tastes very similar to that. I like it. It's not bad for what it is.
If it was 0 sugar, I'd drink this whole one.
Yeah, not bad.
Was the purple Game Fuel? I feel like we had the purple Game Fuel. That might have been like some sort of berry flavor.
Man, we had a lot of Mountain Dew.
When Game Fuel they had a red one. Yeah, we have, dude. Anytime Mountain Dew comes out with some new flavors, bro, we break it up to the.
We'll be there.
Yes,
almost buying Mountain Dew icy today. What's wrong with me?
What kind of nerd culture podcast would we be if we weren't willing to suck down a dooski every now and again?
So I'm going to jump into the white one with Dylan, the Freedom Fusion, so we can all have the Liberty Chill at the same time. 270 calories in this thing. All right, it is Mountain Dew. I don't know why I'm surprised.
This Liberty Chill has 290. So,
dang, that's for all the extra calories for all the flavors of Dew, man.
All right, let's try this Freedom, man. Skull it up.
Skull. That's oddly refreshing. I mean, I know it's not refreshing, but it's oddly refreshing.
That's oddly refreshing.
I enjoy it. I like it.
I would actually, now the Star Spangled Splash, I wouldn't buy that again. I'd buy a 12-pack of these. If there were 0 sugar, I would keep this in the fridge.
All right.
Heck yeah.
That's a high praise. You boys ready to try this 50 flavors of Dew in one Dew with this Liberty Chill? Liberty Chill.
Man,
all right.
Infusion was fire. All right. Liberty Chill time, boys. 50 plus. This is like being a kid and just.
So really, you're the only one, Robert, that can give us the best of the 3. Which right now it sounds like the Fusion one was the best.
It is the best. I do like Freedom Fusion a lot. Taste is subjective, though.
This one, interesting. All right, here we go. Skull.
This one just smells like sugar.
Oh man, it's not bad. It's not what I thought it was going to be, though. For me, this is easy, though. If I'm going to have out of these 2, since I only have 2 and I don't have Freedom Fusion, I feel like Freedom Fusion would probably win because I like peach and lemonade flavor stuff. I think that'd be cool. It's going to be this. The Star Spangled Splash between the 2, Liberty Chill, and this is the winner for me.
You know what I like about this Liberty Chill, bro? I'm going to throw it out there right now. One of my favorite candies is Lifesaver gummies. And if you just take a whole handful of those bad boys and down the gullet, you get Liberty Chill. And even at a staggering 290 calories and 77 grams of sugar and 93 milligrams of caffeine at 10:30 at night, I might drink this whole thing during the podcast.
Whoa, did that one beat out Freedom Fusion, bruh?
I'm not going to die on the hill that this is better than Freedom Fusion.
But for you?
But for me, I wish I would become a regular. No, I would not become a regular soda drinker again, Mountain Dew. But please put this in zero sugar.
Oh, Dylan, what do you got?
So I went in for another sip of the Freedom Fusion, and then back into the Liberty Chill. And I feel like I'm kind of agreeing with Robert. Like both of them are pretty good. I don't think there's one that I would say is better than the other. But if I were to pick one up,
what's your Dusky analysis?
I would probably go with the Freedom Fusion, just because that first sip was like Robert said. It just kind of tasted refreshing. That could just be because I'm thirsty though, so I don't know.
Any one of these you buy, if you're a Mountain Dew person, you're not going to be mad at them. But I think everyone should try Liberty Chill for the experience of drinking a bag of gummy bears or Lifesaver gummy rings.
I'm gonna have to try another sip of this because you're like high praising this thing. I mean, I like Lifesaver gummies too at times. Let me see this.
Hey, bro, let it dance on the palate.
I don't know, man. I even gave it the. I tried. All right. The swirl. Hey, I'm still Star Spangled Splash is still the win for me between these two. Maybe I'm just too basic. I don't know. All right, here we go. Anyway, we did this segment last week while we're sipping the rest of these Mountain Dews. For those of you who are going to, I think I'm going to save the rest of these for my wife. Probably not my kids. I don't want them bouncing off the wall, but we're going back into a segment we did last week called
It Spawned from Discord,
where we're going to take some of the discussions that you all are having in our Discord and talk about them a little bit more on the show. It seemed like last week you guys ended up taking some of these and talking even more about it in our Discord, so we thought this would be fun to try to do this again. So we're going to start this off with this. In our video game discussion, there have been quite a few things posted about the Xbox Showcase. What are your thoughts on the overall showing from Xbox, and what is the biggest standout? We'll start with you, Robert.
Sure. So for the Xbox Showcase, dude, I think Xbox needed something like this because they're an afterthought to me. Like when I go sit down at the end of the day, if I have a spare moment to play video games, I don't even look in the direction of my Xbox. I don't even think about clicking the PC Game Pass app to see what's on there. I go to my PlayStation, my Switch, or my PC in that order. I have a lot of love for the 360 era of Xbox. This showcase to me looked like a step in the right direction to kind of get me interested in some of their first party offerings again. Specifically, Gears of War E-Day looked really cool. I do think Game Pass is still the best value in gaming, but just because you're the best value doesn't mean you offer a quality experience every time.
That's true. That's true. Dylan.
So I sat down and watched the full showcase Sunday, and there's a lot of good stuff that I found. As someone who's been like a lifelong Xbox fan, I'm always humbled whenever I see Sony coming out with these PlayStation games and they look amazing, and I see Xbox and I'm like kind of lackluster. But I feel like comparing some of the recent showcases from PlayStation and now what Xbox has dropped this past week, I definitely think, like Robert said, it's a step in the right direction, especially because all these games will be like available on Game Pass. So that is awesome. One big thing that kind of stood out to me was actually I'm a big Call of Duty fan. So I mean, obviously Black Ops 6, although a lot of people keep saying, like, you know, they have this idea that Call of Duty is just kind of played out. But I think Black Ops 6 has taken a huge step in kind of reinventing the game. And the fact that that's going to be available on Game Pass is just awesome to me. So I think it'll be really cool. Along with, like Robert said, Gears of War was cool, and a lot of other announcements that they had, which I'll probably be talking a little bit later in the show about. But yeah, I thought it was a great show for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Xbox needed this. They needed to have a showing that we could all universally look at and go, hey, that was a win. Because oftentimes a lot of their showcases have been filled with division, where you have the Xbox huge super fans who are defending it, and then a lot of other people who are like, come on. You showed us nothing really. And that kind of sucks because I've been an Xbox fan for a long time too. I've always loved Xbox, but since they dropped the first one, but they have been the last couple years. It's been lackluster. This one was very good. It's a good step in the right direction. The two things that honestly I'm most psyched about is obviously Avowed and Fable are huge. Massive deals. I think they're really cool. The one that surprised me is Doom. Doom is not ever like outside of like the original game that dropped on the PC, like back when we didn't know what first person shooters were until Doom and Wolfenstein came out on the scene. Like I haven't really been like, oh yeah, I'm stoked for this Doom game, but this Doom game looks cool. Like the weapons look cool. Like the action looks cool. I'm kind of jazzed about it. I'm psyched for it in a way I didn't think I would be. So pretty stoked for that.
Yeah, dude, for me, it's definitely Gears of War E-Day. I love Gears of War, favorite Microsoft franchise. I'm excited to jump back into that universe, especially because they said they're going to keep it more horror like the first one. Biggest surprise to me, I'm pretty sure Metal Gear Solid Delta, the Snake Eater remake, is going to be multi-platform. That one looked great, but by far the one I was like, man, I didn't know I wanted this. Age of Mythology Retold. I used to love those old RTS games like that, dude.
Yeah, me too. I still do. We had a we had a StarCraft craze that we had there for a little while, dude. We sucked at it, but we were
terrible.
We wanted really badly to be good. We really did. All right. Why is the Tahine? Is it Tahine, right? Craze. Yeah, what is with it? What is with it recently? Why is with it? What? Ooh, Justin, let me rephrase this thing, but go ahead. What is with it?
Dude, it's delicious. I guess simply put, like if you put a good product out, people will flock to it type deal. But I love the mango bars we bought so much that I actually bought another box of them this week, and I had one tonight before we hopped on this show. We have that tahini seasoning in the spice pantry. I know Veronica uses it.
Dylan is really laughing. Dylan, go ahead, bro. What's the deal?
Capitalize the A and the T.
Why? What? There. Fixed. I like it. Hey, go ahead, bro. Be that guy. All right. Go ahead. So I looked this up, dude. Tahini dropped in 1985. And here we are in 2024. And all of a sudden, we all love it. It's crazy.
Marketing, baby.
It's the same thing with Stanley, dude. Like no one cared about Stanley. And people have these like old thermoses from back in like 1932 or whatever it is, for that they used to pour in their soup before they went into the coal mines. And now like Stanley's like the biggest thing on the planet. So
yeah.
Dylan, are you a strong believer in the tahini?
Absolutely not. I think it's
extremely mid.
Woo!
What?
Oh, there you go. Hey, listen, we knew our boy Dylan was going to come in with a hot take, though, on this.
I should have known, man. What is the diet chicken fingers and fries, man? What do we do? What's wrong with some spice in your life?
Hey, bro, chicken fingers and fries. That sounds like a good meal.
I ain't hating on chicken tendies, bro. I'm just asking, what's that? You put a little tahini on them? What's up?
He ain't putting tahini. He's not putting it on his mango. He's not putting it on his chicken fingers. So there you go. All right, here we go. Next question. Is the Acolyte that bad? And really, this is a question for Dylan. I have watched the first 2 episodes. I'll share some of my opinions within this, but you know what? I'll start, Dylan. So that way you have the floor for the rest of the time. Is that cool?
And I have one piece to add before. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. I've watched the first 2. I know that the 3rd episode right now is like, the biggest fire ever right now. But the first 2 episodes weren't bad. I was actually like into it. I was fine with it. Good action. The Jedis were cool. Like there were some cool fight scenes in it. I was here for it. The whole time I remember watching those 2 episodes and I was like, I don't understand the hate the whole time. Now, that was my take on the first 2 episodes. Watched them with Maggie. They were fine. They were solid. So that's my take on it. Don't think it's as bad as what the world was saying it was. Dylan, or no, sorry, Robert. Robert said he had something to throw in before Dylan has the floor.
Yeah, I really wanted to check this out this weekend. I didn't get a chance to. However, Rotten Tomatoes has got an 85% certified fresh across all critics, but the audience score is 21%. So I would like Dylan to show me on the Grogu plushie where Disney hurt him this time.
Look.
No. There you go. We can't switch that. It can't be look. It's got to be listen, bro.
Listen. I liked episode 1 and 2. I went in with an open mind. I went in with trying to be as least negative as possible. I tried to keep some of the actor comments and director comments out of my mind and just wanted to take the show in for what it was and try to enjoy it. And I did. Surprisingly, I did. And I was actually kind of excited for the rest of the series. And then we got episode 3.
Spoiler alert to the Discord fans of Star Wars who talk about the show in there, and to any listeners who like Star Wars, I'm going to have to ask because I don't care enough about spoilers for this show. Dylan, what makes episode 3 so terrible?
Okay. There's a couple things. So 1
hour later,
the Chosen One prophecy, essentially. I don't know.
Well, we
Fair
can
enough.
look forward to a Dylan micro episode from what I'm hearing, and this is legit. This isn't like us making fun of anything. Dylan is going to do a YouTube version of our show, giving a full-on review of The Acolyte. Is that correct?
When it's done, when the series is wrapped?
Or
I can do that. I'll probably do one specifically about episode 3, and I'll go more in depth and explain.
I like this.
And then I'll probably
Episode
do
3 hurts you, man.
Hey, we need that kind of content in our show, so be on the lookout for that on YouTube.
I need some Liberty Chill to regain.
All right, we don't have a ton of time for this last question, so I'm just going to throw it out. And for the Discord to help us encourage our boy, will Robert ever finish Fallout? I hope so, because we have some Nuka-Cola Jones soda that we need to be reviewing, and we need to drop an episode just reviewing the show Fallout at some point. So we hope he does. Get in our Discord and encourage Robert to go and finish Fallout. I think
Watch episode 2.
Dylan needs to do it too. See, there it is. That's the Nuka-Cola Jones soda. We need to get this going. So hopefully encourage our boys to go and finish Fallout. Give us just a few minutes. We'll be right back. We're going into our second story from You Like It Darker called Willie the Weirdo. So give us just a moment. We'll be right back. All right, guys, it is time for part 2 of our book club discussion where we will be covering Willie the Weirdo. Robert, go ahead and kick us off with what this one's about.
Well, right off the jump, I don't think Willie had a chance with the name Willie. But Willie, by most accounts, is a weirdo. He likes dead birds, dead bugs. He stares into space for hours daydreaming, like just nothing going on up there. But luckily for old Willie, there's another weirdo in the house, his grandpa.
This one is tagged, I would say, probably horror. There's some suspense. It is very odd. It's very odd. You know, one thing that he did that I was like, okay, this one I was like, I don't know what's going on here, was when he was watching the mole float down the drain, hoping that it would go into the sewer thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all right, bro. Right. And then the firefly thing.
Uh-huh.
They put fireflies in a jar, give them no oxygen, and then watch as their lights go out. I'm like, okay, yeah.
What was Willie, 10? I think Willie's 10 years old. So you have a 10-year-old kid who's doing like some, if I'm a parent and my kid's like, hey, Dad, look at this Mountain Dew bottle full of dead lightning bugs. We call him the therapist. Like off top. It's therapy time. And then my son's getting bullied. And as he's getting bullied, he's just watching a mole float down the sewer grate just because he wanted to see what happens when the dead body hits the sewer drain. It's like, hold on, bro. Is it just Stephen King putting a kid in here in these situations to creep me out? Because I was creeped out.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of goes in again, to show the mind of how Stephen King operates in a different playing field than the rest of us.
Yeah.
The way that he could just think up these kind of things, the way that he could tell stories and develop characters, even in these short stories, such a quick time. Like by the time you get to the end of this one was what, 20 pages, 25 pages, something like that.
Dude, I think it was actually 16, 17 pages.
Well, there you go. 16, 17 pages. By the time you get to the end of it, like I was like, man, like I don't know. I started kind of feeling for Willie a little bit. I was like, this kid, dude, like just he needs like I'm glad like and I'm sitting here thinking like his grandpa's about to die. Like he's gonna have nobody in his corner. You know, all these things. Started really feeling for Willie. Started feeling bad for that guy.
You got to humanize for Willie.
Yeah, dude. That's right.
It's okay, but you know what? As creepy as Willie was, his grandpa kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for here, dude? Enabled his creepiness a little bit. His grandpa's like, yeah, Willie, put the lightning bug, get another one in there, watch the light go out. Let me tell you about these stories about when I was in the war and a 12-year-old boy got shot in the throat. It's like, what?
Well, it was weird because he's talking about past stuff, like what was it, the Gettysburg battle, and you know, he was talking about like, and Willie's like, tell me about the fat one, Grandpa. Tell me about the fat one. You know, he's like, with all the blood. You know, and you're like, what?
And he talked about like the blood squirting through the teeth and the gleam on the ground. And Willie's like, you mean like rubies in the sun? And I'm like, dude, Willie's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But where it like took a little jump where the suspense and the mystery came in for me, because Grandpa talked about the war and there was no clear like timeline unless they mentioned COVID. He's mentioned COVID in like every one of these stories. I'm sure he mentioned it in this one, but I can't remember a timeline. But so his grandpa is like, hey, I was alive for this. And Willie's like, are you lying? He's like, no, I really was there. Well, then later he's like, tell me the story about Cleopatra. I'm like, hold on, bro. His grandpa went alive for Cleopatra. Is he a time traveler? Because, dude, I love that stuff. You give me time travel, I'm like, okay, I'm here. So I thought Grandpa was a time traveler.
He did mention COVID in this one. His specific one in this, if I remember, was when Willie's asking his grandpa about like, will there be a plague, Grandpa? That takes over the whole world or whatever. And then he's like, well, we didn't have quite that the plague that took out all of mankind, but we had COVID, and Willie thought that was pretty good. You know, like it was one of those like you're like, whoa, like what? This one starts dark and ends dark. Like there is no
disturbing and ends disturbing.
Exactly. So it's a little different.
I felt disturbed, man. I'll use it for the third time. That's just how I felt reading this book the whole time. Like, I wish Grandpa just would have been a time traveler. Stephen King, why? Just let me have the time travel. But no, you had to go further. Like over the course of the book, Grandpa like decays, and you're kind of like getting description of what it's like living with someone who's kind of going through the end. Mm-hmm. And what's creepier than already creepy old Willie is he like becomes more and more enraptured with death the longer the story goes. And one scene, he's like, you know, I like the stench of my dying grandpa's room, and describes the smell. And I'm like, all right, Willie, bro.
It's like urine and feces and stuff. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, Willie, you need to go outside and touch grass. Man. But this one, like, what was that first? Dude, how did I already forget the book we talked about? The fifth step. It had a twist ending to it.
It did. And I still think it's a thing with the twist ending where, and I know we have a question about that here in a little bit that we'll kind of go over, but it leaves things up for debate, I think, in your mind a little bit, because, you know, as you were kind of discussing, Willie's obsessed with his dying grandpa, and he's like, hey, I like the smell, I like being around. And he goes up to his grandpa, he goes, hey, Grandpa, when it's happening, can I watch? Basically, can I watch you die? And his grandpa's like, I mean, if you're here, if you're here, you can watch me die, you know, kind of thing. And so Willie's in the room, and his grandpa goes, it's Willie. And Willie's like, what's up? He goes, it's happening, you know, like I'm about to go. And Willie goes, okay. And Willie puts his face right in front of his grandpa's face and goes, I want to be the last thing you see before you go. And his grandpa grabs him by the throat and says, you're obsessed. Basically, you're obsessed with death. I'm going to be the last thing you see before you go.
Yeah.
And then who walks out of the room? It's Willie. But is it Willie?
Yeah, dude. His grandpa had like a tell. Anytime you asked him a question, he kind of like rubbed his mustache.
Rubbed his mustache.
And Willie's mom at the end of the story asks him a question, and Willie kind of answers it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen King did it, you know, another solid, spooky campfire story.
Yeah.
That he told in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
Creeped me out.
And so just kind of leaves some things up for debate. So this one was good. I thought it was clever. Thought it was well done. And so, are you ready for lightning round, bro?
Let's go, dude.
All right, let's go into lightning round. I think this will help us to discuss and determine some of these other things we might be thinking and wanting to kind of discuss and go over. But number one is, did the use of a child protagonist add to the creepiness factor of the story? I'll answer this one first. Absolutely. Kids are creepy.
Yeah.
My own kids are creepy sometimes.
I'll echo. Absolutely. Anytime kids are involved, I'm out. Like, they creep me out. I have kids. My own kids have creeped me out several times in life. There's nothing creepier, my friends, my non-parent friends, nothing creepier than waking up in the middle of the night and one of your kids is just looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, hold on, bro. Yeah. What up? And they just need a glass of water. And it's like, nah.
Or if your kid's just talking in his bedroom with something that, you know, isn't really there, you know, things like that.
Kids are scary. Terrifying.
They're scary. All right. Here's the question we were kind of getting to a little bit while we were discussing the book just a minute ago, or the story. Do you think Grandpa was a soul-jumping evil spirit, death incarnate, or did Willie take on his grandpa's mannerisms after death as a coping mechanism? Robert, go ahead and answer this one first, bro.
So for me on this one, dude, I wanted to believe his grandpa was a time traveler, and then the twist ending happened. So at first I leaned towards like death incarnate, just kind of moving through the world. But I like soul jumping evil spirit. Like, he lived through all these things, and then as his one shell is dying, he jumps into another shell.
Yeah. You know, and I wish in a way that I remembered every little detail about each of these stories, because I think that there probably was a tell that would answer this.
Yeah.
But if you remember, they were talking when the sister was talking to the mom. She goes, well, you know, Dad doesn't even like Grandpa, right?
Yeah.
Remember that? She goes, well, yeah. And she starts explaining that, and I can't remember.
Because when Dad's mom, so their grandma died, she said Grandpa changed.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. So that was kind of the, you know, I think that even in this, there have been tells that would tell us, you know, things that if you go back and read them again after the ending, you're probably like, oh, there it was.
Yeah.
Stephen actually revealed this in the first 2 pages. I just didn't realize it or whatever. But yeah, soul jumping evil spirit, 100%, bro. That's how I'm feeling about that. All right. Dylan, we'll start with you on this one. Name a creepy movie involving children. Something that's impacted you, something that's creeped you out. Could be the one that creeped you out first, could be the one that's creeped you out the most. Dylan, hit it.
First thing that comes to mind, Children of the Corn.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That is a good one, dude.
All right, Robert, what you got, bro? You got anything to beat Children of the Corn?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. This movie is terrifying. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. The kid is terrifying. The acting, I'm just joking. Mine would have to be either like the original Exorcist. It still, I think, holds up today. I watched one of the later Annabelles with Lucas, and the little girl that gets possessed in that movie is straight up nightmare fuel. Paranormal Activity 2, Paranormal Activity 3. Pretty much, if it's a horror movie with kids in it, I'm already entering creeped out. Kids are scary. Happy Father's Day.
I think, Robert, I think you mistaked The Phantom Menace with Acolyte Episode 3.
Dude, here's what's funny is I knew that Dylan wasn't going to let that pass. Like that that we were going to have a throwback to it. I'm going to echo Dylan though. Children of the Corn. That was the first time I saw a movie when I was younger. That was a horror movie. I think maybe I was 5. I was at a sitter's house. And my mom will sometimes talk to me about it. It's like a core memory of mine. So Children of the Corn, dude, terrified me as a child. All right, man. 3 words to close this one out. Willie the Weirdo. What do you got for us, brother?
Kids are creepy.
Kids are creepy. Mine was Terrifying Freaky Friday.
There you go, dude. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, everybody. Give us just a moment, man. We're going to be right back with some nerdy news.
All right, every time you tune into an episode of the Nerdy Reads podcast, you can expect some of the latest and greatest news across the Nerdverse. And each week, we kick things off with a sighting of the week. And our sighting this week comes from the user Native Starseed on TikTok. And the caption says, "Hurt alien on the road. It's almost bug-like in appearance." And basically just shows a hurt-looking alien on the road that is bug-like in appearance.
Okay.
I'm watching now.
I threw it up on the screen for us.
Video viewers or audio listeners, I'm sorry. The video is here if you want to go to YouTube and check it out. If not, you'll find it in our Discord.
Yep.
All right. Someone's running. Yeah.
There's always somebody running in one of these.
Low quality. If it's not 480p, it's not legit.
Hey, they explained that in Two Talented Bastards.
They sure did, dude. They did. It's a great story, by the way. What is this thing?
What is it actually, dude?
It looks like 2 turtles getting it on, really.
I think it looks like a giant cockroach or something.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know what we just witnessed, y'all.
I don't know what that profile picture was. We should probably
What was it?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, audio listeners, you guys dodged that bullet.
But yeah, that was our sighting this week. It was definitely interesting. I felt like gave me some like Men in Black vibes with the bug-like alien.
Heck yeah, Men in Black's a great shout, Dylan.
And in other news, as I talked earlier on the show, it is summertime. And if you're a gamer, the summer is probably one of the coolest times of the year because this is when all the huge game showcases come out. And as we talked about Xbox Game Showcase happening earlier, there's a couple other ones that happened as well. Ubisoft Forward, PlayStation did a State of Play also back on, I think, May 30th is when they did their most recent State of Play, and Ubisoft Forward happened a couple days ago on, I want to say it was this past Monday, and of course we had the Xbox Game Showcase this past Sunday. So it basically it's a cool time where they just announce new games, gameplay trailers, deep dives, and so much more. So a few things I wanted to highlight kind of throughout these different shows. Like a lot of it we already talked about with the Xbox stuff, but Black Ops 6, Justin mentioned the Dune game looking pretty good. State of Decay 3, they dropped the trailer for that. It was looking really cool. A lot of updates for some games like Starfield with their Shattered Space update. Fallout 76 has a Skyline Valley update, which is expanding the map outside of where it currently is. Diablo 4 has an update, Vessel of Hatred. I'm sure maybe we might jump back on some Diablo 4. Who knows? And then, of course,
we have a clan. We have a clan.
Yeah, we do. We do indeed. We need to get back on there, bro.
I'm on there, bro.
And then, of course, Robert mentioned the new, or you said it was a remake of the Metal Gear Solid. Is that?
Yeah, Metal Gear Delta.
Yeah. So that I've only played Metal Gear Solid 5. And I actually had a lot of fun playing that one. But I haven't played any of the other ones, but that really caught my eye and it looked pretty interesting. And then, of course, Justin mentioned Fable, which is, we've been waiting on that for quite a while now. Then Robert mentioned Gears of War E-Day, and then we also got Avowed and the new Indiana Jones game that is coming out. It's like a first-person kind of thing. Looks pretty interesting, too. So that was just the Xbox Game Showcase, but Ubisoft Forward had some pretty cool announcements. They have 3 different Prince of Persia games. If you haven't played those, I haven't really played those, but I know like there's a lot of fans of those games. But they're announcing 3 different titles. Sorry, my pen was rolling. And then also X Defiant Season 1, which is an upcoming first-person shooter. That'll be dropping. And then 2 of my probably most... The 2 biggest games I'm looking forward to the most this year, and that is Star Wars Outlaws, which got a new trailer, a ton of new gameplay. and it looks actually pretty awesome compared to what I thought it was going to be. Whenever I heard a lot of the stuff that was coming out about it, I was a little disappointed because I kind of had an expectation and then it went a completely different direction. But from what I'm seeing, it looks pretty cool. And then Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I've been kind of on this up and down roller coaster with Assassin's Creed, same as Star Wars. But this game does look pretty promising. It got a bunch of new gameplay and trailers and stuff like that, and it looks pretty good. And then the state of play, I was a little disappointed with as a new time PlayStation guy. So I was kind of, whenever I got my PlayStation 5, I was kind of hyped. I thought, there's going to be some cool games coming out. And we've had some cool games like Spider-Man 2, obviously Helldivers 2. That's been awesome because I know we've been playing that a little bit, or at least we did whenever it first came out. And then I'm trying to think of what else. I know like there's a new Wolverine game that's in the works. So like there's some stuff to look forward to, but really there's a bit of a lackluster state of play this month.
I'm going to pump the brakes, bro. I'm going to go in the other direction. I sent some PlayStation haterism over here.
You did. There's 100% some haterism in there.
Yeah, there was some haterism. Like, it wasn't the greatest state of play, lackluster, strong. There were still some good games shown. Like, that Alien game looked really awesome even. And it's in VR. I think an Alien game in VR would be absolutely terrifying. Marvel Rivals look cool, but that's cross-play. Monster Hunter Wilds looked awesome. That's also going to be cross-platform. But with the announcement of Monster Hunter Wilds, if you are a PlayStation Plus member, you can download Monster Hunter Rise for free right now on PlayStation. That's pretty big. That's pretty awesome. And, dude, the best thing that came out of the state of play, it wasn't the Silent Hill 2 remake. That looks terrible. I'm sorry, Silent Hill fans. I apologize. Someone put a comment that said they saw the Resident Evil 4 remake. We can do that cheaper. I agree. It looks terrible.
Can I guess what game you're going to say?
Yes.
Infinity Nikki.
I'm not going to say Infinity Nikki. That looked weird, and I like weird. But the best game that came out of the state of play was that Astrobot game, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That Astrobot pack-in for PS5 is still one of the best PS5 games you can play. And getting a full game with that, with all the Easter eggs and love for Sony PlayStation thrown in one thing, that's day one. I'm buying that right off the jump, September 6th. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
The only thing that I'm really looking forward to, if I'm being honest, like all that other stuff does look kind of cool, but I'm really actually looking forward to Until Dawn Remastered because I love the Until Dawn, or like those style games. And I never got to play Until Dawn.
Dude, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, and I've seen some gameplay of it, and it looks like a lot of fun. So with the fact that they're remastering it, I'll definitely be getting that and playing it as my first time playing through that, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But
Monster Hunter Wilds does look great, though.
It does, dude. And the Until Dawn game would be fun for like the three of us to sit around and play together, because I did that with my wife, and introvertly bookish. Her husband came over. We played The Quarry, which is like the same team, and we all took a different character. And I think after like an hour or so, someone died. I can't remember who it was, but it's a lot of fun. You make decisions, they affect the group. It plays out like a movie. It's good times.
That'd be cool.
That's cool. That's cool. I like how you said you took turns of like different characters. I didn't. That's actually really smart. That's pretty.
You kind of pick a character and they're in the scene, and if I choose something negatively, it could impact Mandy's character, and if she chooses something, it could screw over Veronica down the line.
That's crazy.
That's a really fun game. Yeah,
sounds cool. Next.
Yeah, and
Dylan looked like he fell asleep for a second.
I thought he did. I was nervous.
Dylan was like,
I'm wide awake. I'm like Katy Perry, bro.
Wow.
And that is it for Nerdy News this week.
All right, nice. Robert, you know what time it is.
Man, it's time for What's Hot. We here at the Nerdy Reads podcast can't read everything, but we try and find something popular in the book world and bring it to your attention. And this week, we have New York Times bestselling author Riley Sager, and he is back with Middle of the Night. The worst thing to ever happen on Hemlock Circle occurred in Ethan Marr's backyard. One July night, Ethan and his best friend Billy fell asleep in a tent. In the morning, Ethan woke up alone. Billy was taken and never seen again, and 30 years later, Ethan returns to his childhood home and begins to notice strange things happening in the middle of the night. Someone is roaming around in his backyard. Someone's creeping around the peaceful cul-de-sac at odd hours. So, I don't know what's going on, dude, but in this novel, a man has to contend with the long-ago disappearance of his childhood best friend and the dark secrets lurking just beyond the safe confines of a picture-perfect neighborhood. This one's sent at 3.94 on Goodreads with 462 early reviews. It comes out June 16th. I've read Riley Sager's Final Girls years ago on recommendation from Introvertly Bookish. It was great. I've been meaning to check out some of his other works. I know he's put out quite a bit since Final Girls, but Final Girls is getting made into a movie. So I wanted to highlight him, and this new one sounds right up my alley.
That does sound awesome.
Yeah, he's a good author, dude. I recommend you check it out. If you like horror, thriller, he's up your alley. And coming up next week on the Nerdy Reads podcast, everyone, we're going to bring you our very first micro episode, which Justin touched on. Thursday, we're going to drop a video where we're discussing the short story Finn from You Like It Darker. And on next week's full-fledged episode, we're diving into the meat of the book, Danny Coughlin's Bad Dream. It is longer than I think every story we've done combined. So we appreciate all your comments in the Discord. Be sure to read along with us. Let us know how you're doing, what you think. Look in your comments.
Yeah, we really do enjoy that. It's a lot of fun to be reading this with you all. And I know there's a lot of people that are reading this with us that haven't been commenting. We appreciate that too, and hope that you guys are getting some added value to your purchase of You Like It Darker by hanging out with us here on the Nerdy Reads podcast. All right, guys, I think that's it for us today. So we had a lot of fun talking about a couple stories. We talked about the fifth step. We talked about Willie, the weirdo. We talked a lot about Xbox, and Dylan's poured his heart out about Acolyte. And be looking out for Dylan's little short video coming out talking about probably episode 3 from what it sounds like, because he has a lot more to say about that. So if you want to keep up with those things and see these micro episodes, see more about our YouTube, all that kind of stuff, things that are going on in Discord, you're going to want to keep up with us. Robert, where can they find us at?
You can find us over on Facebook, Instagram, Goodreads, at the Nerdy Reads Podcast. You can find a link to join our Discord on just about any post that we put up on those social medias. Hop in, join the conversation. We look forward to hearing from you.
Yep. Last thing that we would like to ask you to do, it really is cool and helps us out if you follow our YouTube page. So go there and subscribe to what we're doing. You can keep up with our videos. We're going to be posting things on there that aren't necessarily episodes also. And so there's some additional kind of things that we'll be doing on there, and you'll want to be checking that out. All right, guys. So we cannot end the episode. Should not end the episode. His head already turned to the left. Turn to the right. He's gonna say a famous line, because we know what time it is. It's time for some advice from Dylan.
Listen.
Yep.
Don't waste your time watching The Acolyte. That's my advice this week.
Wow.
Thanks.
Well,
Thanks for saving me 3 hours of time I wouldn't have gotten back.
there you go. That's your advice from Dylan. All right, friends, here at the Nerdy Reads podcast, we enjoy a good story. We believe that your story truly matters. So be good to each other and stay nerdy, our friends. Say bye, Dylan.
I might honestly just go back and watch The Last Jedi instead of The Acolyte. Bye-bye.